let me consult my bookshelf, Andrea.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about today? I thought we were doing the to be read books. The ones we're gonna read.
We're doing Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh wait, no, wait, first, does anybody have facts about the author or the synopsis?
I do not.
I watched half the TV show.
Andrea, do you want to do a quick overview?
Basically, God, I haven't read this for a while. This richer family lives in this neighborhood, and then they rent a house to these, I don't know, I guess they are poor people, but poor people who are like artists, and they travel from town to town. Basically, she does an art project in each town. And it definitely goes into about like what they each character's interaction. So there's 4 kids in the family, and it goes through each one basically and how they are all different, and then how they react with the other family, how the rich people and the poor people are getting along, or the rich family and poor family.
Yeah, I feel like it looks a lot at like the different, like how the different social classes interact, and also there's like a really strong like racial element too.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a strong like message of like everyone has problems, no matter like what socioeconomic background you come from or what kind of lifestyle you're living. It's just like everyone has problems to the same magnitude. It's just a different problem, I guess. It kind of touches on money doesn't mean you won't have any problems, and kind of message, I guess.
So can I rate it? I'm really excited to do this.
Do it.
C minus. I hated this.
Ooh.
D plus or B plus?
C minus.
C minus.
C minus. Because I'm glad that I read it, and Andrea recommended it. Like, I'm glad that I read it. I would not read it again. And honestly, I hated every single character. They're all awful people. And I know that sometimes books have like flawed characters, and you could understand their point of view, or it was like based on their upbringing, or something's wrong, or you can understand. I hate everyone. I hate them. They're awful, awful people.
They were like, there were none that you were like, oh, poor. I mean, the youngest daughter was probably, well, I don't know. I watched a show with Corey, and Corey was like, the only person I like in this show is the dad. And I would say I felt like the show was slightly more intense on the characters than the book. Like, I thought in the show, I was like, the mom is so awful. In the book, she was awful, but I really didn't think she was like that bad. And then I watched this show and I was like, oh my God.
What would you rate it, Andrea?
Huh?
What would you rate it?
I would probably rate it. I mean, I would definitely liked the book. I do not like the characters. I'd probably rate it a B. Because I read it in a weekend. I thought it was I don't know. I always find like Creek is about rich people and how they live their lives. So I always find that interesting. So I think that's why I like this book so much. I don't think I would read it again. I would definitely not watch this show again. I did not like the show.
Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
From like I get what Liz is saying. 100%. I'm still a little shocked by her intensity there. But I didn't necessarily like anybody either, but from an entertainment and like the purpose of the book is to like get people's attention, keep them kind of like wanting to read more. From that aspect, I thought it was very good, like entertainment wise. But again, I am with Liz, as in like I kind of felt like it was kind of on the lines of reality TV where it's complete trash. There's nobody on there like that's worth much, but because their lives are so dramatic and like just, I don't know, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but I'm just like, reality TV is kind of like the trash TV. It kind of related to like that, as in like all these people are doing terrible things and lying and covering it up, but from an entertainment aspect, that was kind of the point, and it was good that way. But yeah, I hated everybody.
Like can't look away.
There were a couple of problems that came up that I was like, this could be easily solved if you people just didn't have these selfish motives and you were like, hey, what happened here? Oh, okay, that makes sense why you feel that way. I didn't look at it that way, and done. But instead they got sneaky.
I also thought it was interesting how it didn't only talk about the kids, it talked about it didn't talk about the dads, but the moms. Like, you always think your parents are like these grown-up individuals, and then it goes into the moms like details, and you're like, yeah, they're just people who do the same things, they're just older.
Yeah.
It just focuses on like the children or the adults, but it was interesting that it focused on both, and you're like, yeah, the parents are both just messing everything up too. So I thought that was interesting too.
Do you think
So I have a pitch for how to fix this with the sequel. Do you guys want to hear it?
Wait, what?
I have a pitch for how they could fix it with the sequel. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
The whole sequel is just all the characters slowly getting killed off.
Oh my god.
Liz was that's surprising, because usually Liz and I are so similar in our
I
book.
know.
Wait,
I was
Liz.
really like curious on, like, I totally love the book. I was like, Liz, you have to read this book. It's so interesting.
I'm glad I read it, but like maybe not killed off. Maybe that's strong. Maybe they all get like karma and like something bad happens to them, or some of them die. I don't know. I just hated them.
Wait, but Liz, were you like entertained by the book and like you wanted to keep reading? It was a quick read, or were you like, this is stupid, I don't want to read it anymore? Or were you just frustrated at the actual characters?
So I think it was a combination of like frustrated with the characters and also like, oh my god, this is a train wreck. How much worse is this gonna get?
Yeah, like I was like, what could happen next? And then some crazy thing would happen, and you're like, what?
So
Dude, like the ending, like I didn't think I could get madder. And then you find out like at the end about like some parental thing, right? And then I'm just like, what?
Well, the thing that got me I didn't read the book. I just watched the show. I watched the whole thing. I remember that like people were talking about binge watching this show, and it would take me like 2 or 3 sittings to get through an episode, because I'm just like, this is ridiculously dramatic. Like, I can't believe I can see like one of these dramatic things happening in somebody's life, but it was like 8 major social problems were inflicted on one person's life in one episode. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, who attracts this much like stigma, problems, social injustices? I'm just like, you guys have to be looking for problems and like bringing them onto yourselves. It took me the one episode in particular, and I think I was pregnant during this, or I had just had Raleigh or something, so it took me a while to get through a couple of the episodes because I was like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, it was so frustrating. I think a lot of it could be solved by a simple phone call and just, listening and communicating effectively.
So, final question. Do you think that someone could just watch the show and it'd be as good as the book? Or would you recommend that they read the book instead of watching the movie or the show?
I couldn't get through the TV show because I got so frustrated. So I'll defer to Andrea, because I think she's the only one who read the book and
I read the book and watched them both. I thought the TV show followed the book really well. I just thought it was more dramatic than the book, but maybe that's because when you read the book, you're just putting your own amount of drama. I thought the TV show was really dramatic, because Corey would be like, oh my God, how did you read this? Or do you like this person? And I'm like, they weren't that bad in the book. At least I didn't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you wanted to know what the book was about, you could totally watch the show, because it followed it pretty closely.
Oh, so they're pretty similar, pretty dead on. It's not like a whole other event was added.
Yeah, there's no other like weird occurrences that weren't in the book. I mean, it followed it pretty closely, I would say.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
we should do a video on book and movie, like if they represented well or not? Because I feel like we've
Andrea and I could talk for an hour about Gone with the Wind.
I'm totally obsessed with books that become movies because Corey likes watching the movie part with me.
Oh.
Done like Lord of the Rings. I've got all the Roald Dahl books now that I have not. I'm gonna start that next. But yeah, I totally.
I feel like I need to personally apologize to Liz for like. I feel really bad that she hated it so much. I'm so sorry.
I didn't hate the book. It's well written. I hate the characters and the people.
Yeah.
And just
the situations. Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of the situations could have been handled like significantly better, very easily, but you know.
Who was your least favorite character then?
Me?
Anyone?
I got two.
I think the two moms. I forget their names, but the two moms tied for me.
Okay.
I didn't like, what was her name? Izzy, like the daughter, the one daughter.
The one that the youngest.
Yeah. I felt like she really stirred the pot in stuff that like she would listen to her parents' conversation and chime in. And I'm like, for one, you're like 10. You don't get an opinion. For two, you're not in this conversation. For three, you don't know the background, the whole story. She would just like say things. And I felt like she literally only had opinions in order to differ from her mom.
Yeah.
Like if her mom didn't have opinion A, she wouldn't have opinion B. I feel like she did it solely to be like, oh, mom likes blue. Well, I like red.
Devil's advocate, I feel like that was me from like age 10 to 18 though.
Oh, it was for sure me. It's still kind of me. I'm not saying I didn't do it and I don't do it, but I feel like she was like way out of
maybe you're the most like her, Kelly.
Kelly, are you your own least favorite character?
No, because that girl was
Kelly's world.
No, now everyone owes me an apology because I'm nothing like Izzy. She was just like, she's just like nosy and in her in everyone else's business. I'm like, Izzy, go to school. Like, stop talking. Like, go away. No one asked you to be here. And plus, your hair looks hideous.
All right,
Andrea.
Oh God.
Andrea, who's your least favorite?
I would probably say the poor girl's mom.
Yeah, she's my number 2 most hated.
Pretty awful.
From the
I'm very upset.
episodes I saw, she seemed pretty selfish, but I only watched the first 3. So,
dude,
well, if you saw the end, you would be like, "Oh my God."
Well, I think that's a wrap of Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah.
To sum it all up, Liz is very angry and she hates everyone and she thinks a sequel should kill everyone.
I really feel like you should have rated that a D, Liz. If you feel that strongly, like what on earth is rated like an F to you?
But it was well written and I'm glad I read it. Like there are books that have been like horribly written that I haven't finished, and that's the only time that would do it like an F.
I did think it was interesting. Like it was definitely enthralling. Like I was like, what's gonna happen next? I'm like, oh no way.
No.
Just kept getting better and better. I'm like, Liz, you have to read this book. But I read it in like 2 days, I think.
Oh, all right. Well, you guys have a fantastic night.